We are streaming live. Got it. And I'm starting the recording of this session. So, hello and very good afternoon. A very good learning Sunday with Orange Slates. Today, we in the morning we had a session on effective and efficient timetable planning, right? And of course, we plan the entire day. We plan our work. But when it comes to having self-awareness, having doing something about what I have done in the past year, in the past 3 months, I should have done, the way I should have done, and what how will I assess? What are the parameters on which I should assess? What are the strengths? What are the weakness for that particular parameter? As a teacher, we should know this because we assess our students, right? How will we assess ourselves? What are the rubrics? What are the parameters? So today we have with us Ms. Navinder Kaur Rupra, who is going to give us entire information on how, what, why of self-awareness. We're going to see a lot of checklists, you will get a lot of templates, and I'm sure a lot of clarity on how to assess yourself. And assess not in a judgmental way, but in a good way. So Navinderji, thank you so much for joining us for a very important session. And it's not only for us as a teacher, but us as humans. That helps us to grow. Right, Navinderji, what are your thoughts on that?
Right. Thank you so much, Rushali. And thank you to my all teachers who have joined us. Definitely, it is not only to assess ourselves professionally, not only to assess ourselves as teachers, or to show somebody that, yes, I have these abilities, or this is how good I am, but it is more important to assess ourselves as human beings. Learning should be our continuous journey. Learning and rejuvenating, upskilling ourselves should be something which is very important for all of us to do. So today's session is not only about reflection as a teacher, but also reflection as a continuous learner. So with that's a zeal that we should all have as a educators. So thank you all for joining us today. So with this, I start my session and share my screen for the presentation that we have brought for you. And today's
Yes, so
session
it's
is
sorry. So in the meanwhile, when Navinderji is sharing her presentation, of course, I have to tell you that Navinderji has experienced 20 plus years in not only in teaching in schools, not only in India, but also abroad. She has done a lot of trainings from Middle East and helped teachers for pedagogy, strategies, tools that they can use and implement in the classroom. And not only for teachers, but also for school leadership and mainly about planning and executing things in the classroom better. So she's also an Abbott certified trainer. So yes, that's about Navinderji. Navinderji, please let's begin.
Thank you. Yeah, so much. Thank you so much, Vishali, for this lovely introduction. Okay, so it is about self-appraisal, and self-appraisal is important at every part of our life, every stage of our academic year, every month, I would say, because every month we should learn something new, that we continuously climb the ladder, as you can see on the image that I fixed here. It is important that you should climb the ladder one by one step at a time. So it is important to have a self-appraisal. So when I talk about self-appraisal, it is more about the self-evaluation that we are talking about. Self-evaluation becomes the base of a self-appraisal. It gives you the opportunity to showcase your accomplishment, to highlight what you have done with your students. Any good student achievement that you have in your classroom becomes your opportunity to showcase. It is also about how you have implemented some new facts, some new strategies, some new teamwork, collaboration work that you have introduced. All those comes into self evaluation. So this is something that we have to highlight as a teacher. Not only this, even a small learning that you have taken from your peers or from your students, or that you have taken and undertaken any course, that also comes as an accomplishment which you should showcase as self evaluation. Because when we are doing self evaluation or self appraisal, it is a part of a 360 appraisal that your organization, your institute, or your schools take into. So it is important to highlight ourselves in a right way, so that we get good opportunities, good prospect for growth, good appraisals, and good promotions into our organizations. So it is your time to highlight each and every small to big achievement, accomplishment in the right way. We need to write down all the things in detail into our appraisal form, because sometimes writing it into a sentence will not put the essence of what you are trying to say. If you can quote a case study, if you can quote an incident, if you can quote an episode, that becomes an evidence also. And also, if you have a proof of that, that can also be attached into your appraisals, into your assessments. Now, it is important that we should identify what are our strengths, what are our weaknesses. Not only this, it is also about what are the threats that you have and the opportunities that you might have or you may be looking into. So it's a kind of a complete SWOT analysis that we should look into when we are talking about self appraisal. We also have Johari window where we can also talk about our personality, about how do we take us ourselves forward. So these are some of the tools that you can use for self evaluation. We will be doing an extended learning on self evaluation where we will be talking about all these tools in detail, but today is just the information that we wanted to share with you. So here, teachers just want to know from you, what do you think are your strengths, are your weaknesses? What do you think are your opportunities also? Anything that you have learned new and you think that can be your opportunity for the next academic year, because we are ending this academic year and now we'll be moving on to the new academic year. So have you thought about yourself? What are your strengths now? Or any improvements that you think you should work on? So it's an open forum for every teacher here.
May I?
Yeah, Rinku ma'am, please.
During these 2 years, I can say confidently that I am now techno savvy, and it is going to help me in during the offline classes also from the new session, and indeed it helped me. And earlier we were not that much techno savvy, but we had to learn. This is one positive aspect. Another is that while sitting at home, I did lots of meditation and self introspection, and I have uh, somehow managed my anger. I did some anger management too,
True.
which
That
was
is,
not there.
I think so, ma'am, that is the most important and great thing that you have achieved as an accomplishment, because anger management is very difficult to achieve. It's first of all very difficult to identify that I need anger management remedial, action courses. So definitely, yes, ma'am, you have been
And
a great
one
person.
more thing, like earlier, people's comment affected me, but now it hardly matters to me. I'm just taking the positive thing. If anybody is saying something wrong to me or something negative, so if I don't, if I don't like, so it's their poor mentality. And if there is something really which I need, which I think that I need to change, so I work on that.
So great, ma'am, great. This becomes your strength, ma'am. It is about the self-efficacy and about the self-awareness that you have created. It is a major point into your self-appraisal also. Great, ma'am, great. Anyone else who want to share their strengths, their
Shall I,
weaknesses?
ma'am?
Yes, ma'am, Sunita, ma'am, please.
Yes, ma'am. During these 2 years, I could understand myself because before 2 years, I could find that my self confidence was very less, and I was hardly accepting challenges. But in these 2 years, most of the programs I have arranged in my class, and one great responsibility I could accept in my school, that is the head of the cultural program, or head of the department also, as well as I have just before 2 to 3 days I have organized one session for the parent, that is parent interaction session, and in that we called all the parents who are the parents of this grade 10 standard 10. So we motivated them that how they can support to their wards if the child is lagging behind in this corona period. So highly parents appraise that great motivation or whatever learning strategies we guided them, that these are the better strategies how they can uphold to their child. So due to that my self confidence increased, And again, more thing that I was hesitated to drive four-wheeler because it had from the long period I was having at my home. I can say 10 years, but I could not dared. But now I have doing that, so I'm happy. So I can say now in school also I can motivate to my children, my parents, as well as at home I can do all that work very confidently.
Great, ma'am. Great. So the opportunity that I can see for you become a mentor for the students and the teacher, become a motivational speaker, and also as a parenting coach, you can coach the parents about the well-being of the students for their academic, for their extracurricular activities. Definitely, ma'am. These are the opportunities that you can look for. You can strengthen your abilities and do some kind of professional course on this so that you can take it to the next level. Thank you so much,
Yes,
Sunita ma'am. Okay,
thank you.
so best of luck, ma'am, for you. Okay, Veena ma'am,
Thank you,
can
ma'am.
we
Thank
hear
you.
something from you?
So presently the skills are like, I mean, I'm not sure if I'm very skillful at, but there was a lot of learning through Orange Slates. I can say at least I have things in hand where I need to work on, and I will gear up for the upcoming academic year. I can say I'm aware of many things that I can implement in the class.
Plan.
So my
Okay.
school is also probably getting into a slightly extended a technical upgradation is happening. So probably kids will have Chrome tabs in their classroom. So that is really exciting because I will be able to implement all the digital tools that I have learned. So that is what is giving me, keeping me excited. A weakness could be I kind of get into too much of detail. So probably I have to work on how much is required and what that particular time, and it's that there is it's not like it's the end of the day, so I prepare like as so it's the
Yes.
it's the end
So,
of the world kind, so I
yes.
might have to think, yes, there will be scope every time we do something new, so
Mhm.
I'll have to do whatever best in that given time frame. So
Mhm.
managing slightly the time, you know.
So, ma'am, I think so. In your case, the fear of technology has gone. That has changed to the strength. So that is why you are now saying openly that yes, my school is upgrading and I'm ready for it. Okay. And the weakness that you have said is too much of detailing. Yes, too much of perfection and detailing leads to the procrastination. Also leads to the failure of the objects, any task also. So there we need to create a balance. That is something that definitely you can look into in your appraisals also. Okay, next, who is the next teacher who will help us or who will just open their window? Rakhi ma'am, Dipali ma'am, Shubham ma'am, Neha ma'am, Ankita ma'am. Anyone who want to share anything about your
Yes,
stall?
ma'am. Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
Rakhi ma'am.
Just one
Yes,
second,
Yes,
Rakina.
ma'am. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, all of
Good
you.
afternoon,
good
Rakina. Yeah.
afternoon, ma'am.
First of all, thank you for keeping this topic, self-appraisal. This is something that we teachers sometimes ignore and we are not updated with. So thanks, Vrushali ma'am, for thinking of this topic. Secondly, coming to the point that what we have learned and what is my strength and what is my weakness, I think for all of us, one thing is there that during these challenging period for last 2 years, I think we all have been able to convert it into opportunity. We all have been able to uh, get the best out of it in terms of getting ourselves techno savvy and upgrading us in terms of knowing about how to handle a class in a hybrid mode and all. For that, Orange Slates needs really it has done a commendable job in upgrading us, right? And when it comes to my weakness, I won't hesitate to admit it before you all that this is the time for being a smart worker. And as my previous friend just mentioned that she believes in too much of detailing. I think I also sail in the same boat. I also believe in the same, but I have to learn to be a smart worker now. I'm not a smart worker. I have seen my colleagues being very smart, and I'm hard worker, but I'm not a smart worker. So the time is for the smart workers. So for that, documentation is very important. And I think in the coming 1 hour, ma'am is going to tell us how we can have good documentation to have our self-appraisal very effective one, and we can justify our work in our work front. Thank you so
Right,
much.
ma'am. Right, Rakhi, ma'am. You're absolutely right. And I think so. Here, I want to say that as an educators, all of us has a strength that we can adapt to the changes quickly. So, survival to the fittest is a mantra that we have seen into our, physics books long time back when we were student. But we have all experienced this during a pandemic time. When our school told us to go online, we were okay. When our school told us to use Google Classroom, we trained ourselves for Google Classroom. When our school said that you use technology now for teaching online purpose, for assessment purpose, assignment purpose, we all learned so many things. So I think so this is the common strength that we all have as an educator, the zeal to learn and to be the person who is easy to adapt the changes without making much of a fuss, right? So with this, we just come to our next slide. So we all talk about that there are some huge successes that have legitimately achieved. So everybody of us knows that what all our successes are. So in your evaluation, in your self-appraisal, evaluation stage come first and next come your self-appraisal, okay? So in your self-appraisal, please, teachers, start writing a note on that, because that is a pat on your back that you can give to yourself for the success that you have achieved, what all new skills that you have learned, what all new courses that you have done as a teacher, what all changes you have made in your own way of lecture, in your own way of even mood swings. That is also an achievement for us. Like one ma'am was saying, that anger management, so that is also an achievement for us. Please be open to write all this into your self appraisal. Okay, highlight your accomplishment. It is very important. Normally we say is ki, okay, I was able to do padlet with my students, so okay, that was one of the part of a technology, I've already written it as a technology. But no, the small things that you write, that also becomes your accomplishment. If you are able to do something which you have not done earlier, you know that you had learned it hard way, put it as your accomplishment. The other person around the table, your senior, your principal, your vice principal, because they are the part of 360 degree, and self appraisal is a part of a 360 review. They should also know, they should also understand that how difficult it was for you to accomplish this achievement that you have done. So put that into the paper. That is more important. Portray your new skills, what all your new skills that you have achieved, and how it is now going to help your organization or your schools or your institute where you are working. Not only just say about yourself, but then connect it with what this achievement of yours can help the school growth also. That is important. In self appraisal, it is important you attach the institutional goal along with your own new strengths that you have, so that you give a picture to your senior what you are capable of, so that they can promote you as a supervisor, they can promote you to the senior classes, they can promote you to a club inspector, they can promote you to a core team member group. So please, if you are doing this, do highlight. Sometimes we don't even highlight if any new degree that we have achieved, because it was done through distance learning. Don't shy away, write that also into your resume, because each and everything become a part of your promotions and a part of your appraisals. Okay. Then we also have any performance achievement that you had, any difficulty that you have in your performances, that also becomes into self appraisal. Self appraisal is not only about all good things, self appraisal is also about identifying your difficult areas, your hard areas, your struggling areas, the areas that you are weak into, because only then somebody will be able to help you out. Your seniors will be able to help you out when you write your difficulty areas also. That is an important part. And then if you have evaluated any lesson which was the best lesson for you, your student had, had a great learning experience during that lesson, highlight that, highlight with the topic, highlight with the student's outcome, maybe the project work that you have given and some group of your school, of your classroom have done excellent work, highlight that into your appraisal. Any, person, any student who was not very good into studies, who was not open, whose communication skill were not good, highlight that, how you help that particular student to achieve the communication level, to achieve the good grades into that subject. So highlight each and every case, I would say here. So that is important into your self appraisal. Okay, so now what does self-appraisal actually mean? Self-appraisal means evaluating your performance as a school teacher, as an educator, as a team leader, as a supervisor, as a student mentor, as a parenting coach. So whatever role you play, it is a continuous evaluation of your strengths and weaknesses. That is called as self-appraisal. It is not only your positive points, it is also about your negative. I would not say negative, but improvement areas. We will say it as improvement areas. So self-appraisal enables you to modify, to refine yourself, to change to the needs of the students throughout the year. And please remember, after this COVID time, after this 2 years of gap, when your school are going to be a regular school, it is also that your students have also changed a lot. So if students have changed a lot, you also have to change a lot. Therefore, self-appraisal at this point of time is becoming more important. Now, when I say this, it is not that what all regular routine work that I was doing in a classroom scenario, same thing will be applicable in our next academic session. You will have to adapt to many new changes. You will have to also go by what your students are demanding, what your students are asking. You will not be able to force the student what they were doing in the way they were learning as before 2 years back. So this is again an important point. If you have not done your self appraisal and you have not worked on your weaknesses and strength, please do this. This is the right time. We still have around 10 days to go to our next academic session. Now, this is a very important part. Teacher now and future improved teachers. That is why we are doing self-appraisal, because as a teacher, I want to see where do I stand now and how can be I an improved teacher for my future years to come. If you are not working on yourself, then maybe your student will say, okay, bye-bye, ma'am, thank you so much. We had a great time with you. Your school institute may also say, okay, bye-bye, ma'am, after 2 years also you are the same teacher. We don't want you. You may look into some other, jobs areas that you have. So that is why it is important to reflect on yourself. So there are 4 things that you should ask yourself. How effective am I right now? What might it look like to be more effective? What do I intend to do to improve myself? And what possible way I could improve personally? So these are the important things that you should answer yourself. So I will be taking this one by one. Anyone who want to just say anything about how effective I am right now? Do you think you all are quite effective? Or do you want a feedback or a self-appraisal for how effective I am right now? Do you want to see your mirror, teachers? Are you ready with that mirror
Yes,
in front
ma'am.
of you?
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Because during this time, we all have realized that we can make changes. Change management is easy and it is profitable for us. This is what we have all seen. We have seen teachers who could not, was not good with technology and did not try it also. They had losses. So the one who had tried with the technology, they are the one who are still there in the school and leading the classes. Okay. So now, how do we see our own image into the mirror? So there are many ways of it. First way is self-evaluation. Whatever we may be, we know what our strengths and weaknesses are. We know that these are the areas which I'm not good at. These are the area where I need some kind of a professional training. These are the area where I need some kind of a support from my seniors. So do that. And don't shy away with your self-evaluation for the strength and the weaknesses both. Okay. Then also, who will tell us about how effective am I is the external feedback. External feedback mostly comes from the parents, mostly comes from your people when you go to attend some workshop. Then you realize that, oh my God, this teacher knows this much, I am not good into this. So that is also a self image that you have in front of you. Then the third important part is the analysis of the student outcome. Now, suppose for a particular topic or particular chapter, this was the expected student outcome, which was not there. And majority of the students have not produced that student outcome. So what does it mean? Does it mean there's a change required as a teacher? Does it mean it's the fault of the student who have not worked well? Does it mean the student have not worked on the project or the drawing work or the concept teaching that you were doing? No, because your student only ate what you gave as a feeding, as a food to them, and that was the outcome that they had produced. It means somewhere I have to work on my pedagogy, I have to work on my lesson planning, I have to work on my delivery lessons. So that becomes the greatest part of your mirror. Your student outcome is the greatest part of your mirror. Then we also have some trusted feedback. So what does it mean, trusted feedback? Many times we see the best of the friends that we have in a staff room. They might tell you, Veena, you are very good in this, but I think so you need to improve into the way you conduct your project works. No, something is lacking here. So that is now Veena says, goes back home and says, oh yes, so Shubham sir had said this to me. Let me call to Shubham sir. So Veena calls to Shubham sir. Shubham sir, can I have the insight into it? Shubham sir says, oh yes. See, this is what I can see. This is your strength and this is your weakness. So what is that? That is a trusted feedback. Means you take that feedback positively and you want to really improve on that. That is a trusted feedback that we have. So you may look to people who you trust. You know that they can be your mentors, they can be your guiding force. So those are the one who will show you the true image. Be open. Nowadays this should be your new way of working in your classrooms, because old classrooms are no more there. I'm still saying you will find lot of changes in your school. What possible ways could I improve myself? Okay, so how do I see this? How do I see this question as what possible ways? So first of all, diagnosing and devising ways of securing better outcomes, because no matter as a teacher I can have lot of good strategies, I can have very flowery implementation tools that we have, technology enabled tool that we have, but if my students are not producing the result, the outcome which is desired out of that concept, it means something is wrong with me. My teaching style is not good, or the tool that I've used was not appropriate. Maybe, the Padlet which I wanted to introduce at this stage was not good enough. Maybe I had to introduce a word wall here. So there can be many changes. Maybe only a debate and discussion could have been the important part for the student outcome. It is not important to reinforce or to put so many things into your lesson plan. A simple lesson plan of questioning, a simple lesson plan of an assignment of pen and paper can also do wonders into your students teaching practices and students outcomes. So this is also important. Diagnose and devise the ways of securing better outcomes. Observe and learn from each other. Many times we quietly observe our teachers, our co-teachers, our peer teachers. Maybe in the trainings that we go, we do observe the trainer. So you can observe and learn so many things from looking and observing at each other. That is also an important way of possibly making improvement personally. Then compare me now with me future. This is also very important. Now, what does it mean here? Comparing me means where do I stand now and where do you I want to stand in next 1 year or next 2 years. Okay, that is an important thing. Decide, please create a grid here. Where do I stand? These are my things that I do. These are the things that I don't do. These are the things that other teacher does. Make 3 grid over here. From there, identify the things that I don't do, which the other teacher is doing. What was the impact the other teacher is creating into the classroom with that particular technique? So it means it's a plan for me for the improvement. I should also learn those skills. I should also use those strategies. I should also use those tools for my teaching. That becomes very important here. Then am I good with my curriculum knowledge? As am I an expert with the subject matter, expert that what subject I am teaching? I'll give you an example here, and this is a personal example that I'm going to give you, a real example. You must have also heard of this lady name, but I'm not going to name it here on this platform. She was a teacher of English and social studies. 20 years back, she had gone to one of the school, a prestigious school, and it was her dream school. She wanted to be part of that dream school in Delhi. When she got an opportunity to be a part of that dream school, she was not offered the post of English or SST teacher. She was offered the post of Hindi teacher because that was a new school which had come up into a new area, which the Delhi NCR area, and they wanted a Hindi teacher, not a English or a SST teacher. They offered her, if you can teach Hindi, you are welcome, else you may go. So what was that? She wanted to be part of that group, that prestigious group. She accepted the challenge, and within a month, she trained herself to speak Hindi fluently as she used to speak English. And in these 20 years, she has written books for the publishers. Her series for Hindi books are there. She has been writing poems and has been training the students into that. She has been writing the stories and she's a good storyteller for Hindi. Now she get invites from different government organization and different schools to showcase herself as a storyteller. So what does it mean? What does that self-appraisal has done for her? She has identified that I may not be good into it, but I can really work on it. And the next 20 years, she was so wonderful that now she has her own video channel for storytelling in Hindi, and she is an English and SST teacher. I met her in one of the workshop. When she started speaking, when she was giving her introduction, I thought that Hindi teacher will not speak such a good English and with such a good vocabulary. And during the tea time, I just went to her and then asked her that how come your English is so good, your vocabulary is so good. She said, I'm an English and my subject is SST, but I have been teaching Hindi for last 20 years now. So that is the impact of the self-appraisal that is important for all of us. So self-appraisal can take you to the new heights also. Okay, then also I need to look into to my improving personality for how I am doing the questioning. Is my questioning technique right? Am I able to put across a question where my students are able to answer correctly? Whether my questioning techniques is probing questioning technique, whether my questioning technique is lending my student for critical thinking, whether my questioning technique is enabling my student to do some research work, whether my questioning techniques enables my student to write well and score good into the entrance exams that they are going to appear. So there are many things that you can look into which you want to improve. Write it down into your self-appraisal. Maybe your school may organize a workshop for questioning techniques for you. Maybe you will be sponsored for a questioning technique course from abroad. No, we don't know. Any school can do anything nowadays. Everything is online. Okay. Also, we have to look into the pedagogical flow that we have into our lesson plan. Whether I am good with my pedagogies, whether I'm good with my strategies, that also become a part of your appraisal. These are some of the pointers that I'm going to tell you I'm telling you, which you can improve upon and you can write it into your appraisals also. If you are already very good into questioning, if you're already very good into pedagogical flow, write it as your strength. These are the pointers you should keep in mind. Then my last pointer that I have here is feedback and formative assessment strategies. That becomes very important because as a teacher, right feedback at the right time to the right student is important. Your assessment strategy has to be very important because assessment does not only means giving score. Assessment is a scope of improvement for the child, not academically, but also for the skill based learning, for the learning where the child has to look into many other aspects or many domains of his own personality. So that is also something that you can write it down into your improvement area, or if you already have it, write it as your plus point. Any question, my teachers, you have anything that you think which you can add to this presentation that we have done till now? Am I doing good, teachers?
Yes, ma'am, it is all
Can I
relevant. Yes,
can I
ma'am, it is
have a
all
thumbs
Yes,
up?
relevant.
ma'am. Yes,
Because
Yes,
ma'am.
I
Yes.
ma'am,
also
it
need
is
a
all relevant.
self-appraisal. Thank you so much because I also need a self-appraisal from my 360-degree teachers here. Okay, right.
Yes, yes.
Okay, so what do I intend to improve? And how do I make sure that whatever I intend to improve, I am taking step for it? For that, first of all is focus on the areas of improvement, or focus on the areas of improvement. Sorry, I have written here there. So what does it mean? It means that whatever you have identified as your improvement area, now start working on it. It is not only to pen down into your appraisal, it is important to make a plan for your improvement area. If you have 4 or 5 different things that you have written into your improvement area, when do you want to or intend to achieve it? That is important. Whether I would be achieving it in a week's time, whether I need a month time, whether I need a year, whether I need any help, support from anybody for if that improvement area, right? Even that also. Go to that person and ask for help. It is never, you should not feel shy. It should not be looked up down upon when you are going to a person and asking them. You're very good in your communication, I also want to achieve the same kind of level, can you help me out with it? Your intonation, your voice modulation is so good when you are giving a lecture to your student. I was just passing by and I just heard you. Can you also tell me the technique? Have you joined any course? Can I also join that course? So be very upfront, because in the end, after a year, this will be your strength. And anything that will be your strength, just go by it. Don't feel shy, don't feel down about it. Just openly go and do it. The second important thing is for improvement is changing your habits and routines and gaining some fluency. This is an important part. When you have undergone any course that you have or your teacher has supported you, make it a habit. Make it a intended habit to do it regularly, because anything that you have learned, if you practice it for the next 40 years 40 days, it becomes part of you. If you have not practiced it for the next 40 days, it does not become part of you at all. So if you really want a diehard needs to improve yourself, you want to attain that level of proficiency which the other teacher already has, then practice the same thing for next 40 days. Now here the mantra is just stand in front of the mirror and talk to yourself. Talk to how you modulate your voice. Okay, talk and see the if any words pronunciation is not that good with you, try and do that repeatedly in front of the mirror. That is the self appraisal that is for you. Self appraisal is not a document. It's not something that you will only do for your appraisals or your promotions or your salary upgradation. It is something individually that you should take up as a challenge and work on it. Then aggressive accountability process is very important. I will change or else I will die, or I will be kicked off from my organization or from my community. So that aggressive accountability process is important to have among yourself, and nobody else is going to align anything for you. It is you who are going to do the alignment with your own ethos. So this is an important part which I wanted to cover here as a way to the improvement. You may write so many things into the document, but if you're not doing the things by yourself, that document is just a piece of paper with some sentences on it. Okay. Okay, so now teachers, you need to also understand there are many things that you need to keep in mind in order to grow. First of all is your pedagogical knowledge, the kind of teaching strategies that you are adopting for a particular chapter, because all chapters will have varied pedagogical strategies. It is not that all chapter can be dealt into one way. So are you strong with your pedagogical knowledge? Pedagogical knowledge, that is very important. Work on your pedagogy, work on your teaching strategies, go through and research into the net, join some courses like Orange State arrange so many courses for you. Join such courses and be a master of few strategies that you can take up, and use strategies appropriate for the class, for the student, for the topic, and for the school infrastructure that you have. Okay, so all this becomes very important. Then we also have vision. The vision here means that you should have the accomplishment role for not yourself, but also for your students. Because when you are working for your students, you should know what level of students you have, which height they have to achieve, which milestone your student will be achieving. That is also important to understand here. The collaboration between the teachers and the collaboration between the teachers and the HODs or the mentors are also important. Sometimes what happens, we as a teacher just put ourselves into a shell and there is no growth of us. Now, if we want to, if we break that shell and just slowly and slowly we move out of that shell, the growth will follow you. You don't have to follow the growth. Okay, sense of priority. Yes, there are many things that which are in pipeline. We need to balance, and then there is a sense of priority which is important for a teacher to have a self growth, and this self growth will be reflected into your self appraisal also. Okay, now here I want to say one more thing. Once you have identified your weaknesses, your strengths, you have worked on your improvements, you know that where do you stand now. It is now important to document each and everything, because self-appraisal is a documentation which helps you to highlight your accomplishment and showcase your work to your seniors, so that you have a good promotion, you have good salary upskill, upgradation, and also sometimes there are many roles as a supervisor, as a vice principal. You can be part of that role also if you have done your self appraisal strongly. And sometimes a school does not identify it. I would also openly say here, leave that school, because if that school has not identified you for the appraisal, well, good appraisal, then it means they have not seen your strength. It is time to move out to the new organization. So that is also something you should look into, because many times we are so comfortable with our own zone that we don't even want to shift to any organization. Maybe the other organization can give you double the scale and can give you double the opportunities also. So be a risk taker with a good appraisal. Okay, so now here, these are the performance.
I think there is a question. Ankita ma'am has a question.
Yes, Ankita ma'am.
Ma'am, I want to ask one thing. As you just said that we are supposed to document everything what we are doing, but means how to document such kind of things, which actually organizations sometimes they don't want to register, sometimes they just don't do that on your behalf. This is the time when we have to do it for ourselves. So how to document our achievements and such kind of things which are need of the hour and we are doing for ourselves, that it don't look like a kind of show as we are showing it off.
See, showing off is definitely will not be welcomed by any of the person, any of the senior, any of your co-teachers. So it is not about showing off, but it is putting it into the right way at the right time. Okay. Many times what happened, we are given a chance and we don't look into that as a chance. We ignore that situation. We are given a chance into many of our staff meetings, many of our annual meetings, where your principal or vice principal will say, okay, Ankita, or they will just announce, okay, can anybody just tell us if you have been using something great. So that is the time when you showcase yourself. It is not every time saying that I am doing this, I am doing this. Okay. The important thing is that on the annual basis, in a diary, maybe the last 3 or 4 pages of your diary, start maintaining your self-appraisal. Because we don't, as a human being, we don't understand or we don't remember those small incident that has taken
Yes.
place. Okay,
Yes.
so keep recording that. At the right time, highlight to your supervisor, highlight to your school principal, that is important. Even not only the one that is good, you are good at, also write down the incident you were not good at, where you had worked upon and improved yourself. That incidence is also important. Or the incidents which did not go well, you have not improved, and now you are looking for some kind of an assistance. Because in the end, when we have the appraisals, when you sit with your principal, vice principals, or your supervisors, when they ask you at that time, you don't have anything to say because you have forgotten each and everything. Okay, so that is an important part. Last 3 4 pages of your diary, keep on recording. In the end of our training session, we will be sharing a template where you can record your things also annually.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Sunita, ma'am.
Can that star employee of the month, that particular tag, it can be your external feedback?
Star employee of the
Employee of
month.
the month, because
Yes, that is no, that
in
is
our
not
school
an
it is a
external.
trend.
Yeah, so that is not an external feedback. That is a feedback given by the peers. Okay, so given by the peers or known people, trusted feedback. Okay, so that will come under the trusted feedback. External feedback will be like if I go to any of the school for trainings, if I in my training workshop I found some teachers are very good, I can see their creative side, so I do give a feedback to my principal. See, that teacher is very creative, she can do wonders, put her into a group. Okay, a core group member, or put her into a club, the illiteracy club that you have, or put her into the environmental club that you have. So that is an external feedback, which means the person who has come from outside has seen something good in you, and they are giving a feedback in a way that principal will promote you in that case. Many good progressive school principal do these kind of things. Like I also go for some school audits. So when I go for some school audits, I observe certain strategies. I observe certain teaching resources which the teacher has created. I do tell my principal, see, that she can be a role model to the other teachers of the same group. She has done wonderful with this strategy. Her teaching resources were so good. So this is becomes your external feedback. Okay, your parents will be the external feedback also.
Okay,
Right,
thank you,
Sunita
ma'am.
ma'am? Yeah. So I think so. If we have any HOD over here or any school principal or vice principal, please keep this in mind. This external feedback is very important. Your classroom audits from outside should be one of the important thing that you do if you really want your teacher's 360-degree review. So, because I as a person will not know you, Sunita ma'am, but when I see you there and something has clicked on me, I will definitely pass on to my principal before I leave the school.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, understood, ma'am.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay, so performance indicator for the teachers. Now, these are the broad performance indicators that mostly all educational councils use for their schools. So I'm sure if you can take this to your school, that you have attended a training session, a workshop from Orange Slate, uh, and don't forget to name me also in between. So you can also tell them that these are the important indicators that we can also incorporate into our school system. Now, when you have these performance indicators, you can use it definitely once in the entire annual year, but it will be good if you can use it into the each quarter, because your self appraisal is not something that should be only looked upon at the end. The teacher has to improve herself quarter by quarter, what her level was. And especially when we have new experienced teachers, this becomes more important than we have experienced teachers in our school. So what are these performance indicators? The first performance indicator is designing learning experiences. This will include your teaching resources. This will include your lesson planning. This will include your homework tasks. This will include your project tasks. This will include your pen paper assessments. This will include your notebooks work. So many things will come under this designing learning experiences. Okay, it will also include any activity that you have designed, any collage that you have given to the student. This will also include any now it will also have the technology aspect to it, any technology tool that you have used for student engagement, that will also come into designing learning experiences. So there can be so many subdivisions into it, but the broader is designing learning experiences. The next performance indicator can be the knowledge and understanding of the subject matter. Whether the teacher may, yes, we understand all our teachers are B.Ed trained teachers. We understand all our teachers have undergone the demonstration while they were interviewed. We understand that every teacher is very good with the subject matter expert. But do remember, our curriculums are also changing. Our students are changing. So whether whatever I want to convey to my student as knowledge was good enough for my student, or my student demanded something more from me. Because remember, nowadays students are in front of the screens. Google is something which they are already aware of. They don't go to the library, but they Google it out. Okay, so when they Google it out, there are many new things that comes up. Whether my student, my teacher is able to give a real life application, whether my student can give the updated facts and figures in case of economics, in case of geography, flora and fauna, in whether my teacher was good enough to give the practical experience of that topic to my student. Has she used anything from the kitchen? Has she used anything from the home to explain the topic? Okay, has she taken a market scenario for numbers, like maybe, nowadays we have daily needs stores. We don't no more have Kiryana stores. We have daily needs stores where you can have good scenario based teaching. So has my teacher used it or no? Has my teacher used case based studies or no? All this will come into the knowledge and understanding of the subject matter. So it is not only reading from the text, but what all the teacher can do to impart the up-to-date knowledge, real-life examples for the concept teaching. That is important performance indicator for the teacher. The third is the strategies for facilitating learning. So what kind of strategy is my teacher using? Is she doing some collaborative work, peer work, group work? Is she using a strategy of reading well? Is she using a strategy where she can use different kind of teaching resources? Is she using a strategy where role play is important? Is she using a strategy where student work is highlighted on the wall, and then there is a picture gallery which they have displayed? So what kind of my strategies my teacher is using, that is also performance indicator. Is my teacher good enough to handle the students of different multiple intelligence, is good enough to handle the student of different difficulty level, is good enough to handle the remedial student and upgrade them to the level where they are not called as remedial student. So those strategies we are talking about here. So this is again the performance indicator for the teachers. Interpersonal relationship, how my teacher relationship is with my students, with the parents, with the school staff, the school peon, the cleaner who comes to clean the classroom, how she has been working with the parents. So that is also the performance indicator for the teacher, whether her communication skills are good, whether she empathize and sympathize or no. So these are something which we have to look into our self appraisal or the performance indicators for the teachers. Then next becomes your professional development. How quick the teacher has taken some courses. Has she taken any professional development course till now? Or she is just the old teacher that she used to be? What inclination that she has done for online courses? What all, because even if you talk about NEP, it says 50 hours of professional development. So whether that has been taken or not, all this will become the performance indicator for the teachers. And in the end, the most important is school development. Okay, it is not that you are working on yourself, on your skill, but how you are helping your school to grow. School development is also important. Maybe I'm a teacher who had done some storytelling workshops. Okay, so now if I have done some storytelling workshop, can I be part of the literacy club? Can I just tell my student of grade 11 and tell the art 12th the art of storytelling? Because the art of storytelling is important when they go for group discussion and when they go for interview selection for the colleges. Have I lent my extended my support to those students? Maybe I am a teacher of nursery or KG, but I have learned that art. And have I gone to my school principal and told, sir, can I take this workshop with the student of 11th and 12th? That is the school development growth performance that we are looking into. Okay, so maybe a teacher who is very good into science, and recently she has joined a course where experiential learning was taught to them. So can that teacher be a part or a co-teacher, or once in a week she can just identify, sir, these are the topics of grade 9th and 10th. I can take this topic for experiential learning. I have come to that level. You can just test me. Can you give me an opportunity, sir? I can do a demo in front of you, or I can just do a demo in one of the class. And if you find it okay, I can extend myself on every Fridays for this particular class. Can I do this? Well, I don't think so, any principal, because nowadays principal have also been trained. They also mindset changes there into the leadership role also. And these are the things which will eventually take you to your leadership role also. Do you want to be a nursery teacher in the entire life? Do you want to be the co-teacher into entire life? Everybody want to aspire to become a principal and a vice principal. So these are the important initiatives that you can take up, and highlight these initiatives into your school appraisals, into your self appraisals. Only then I think so you will get the opportunity to grow and make your school a uh, school development a positive picture also. Any question anybody has here? My teachers? See, when you switch off your cameras, then to me, okay, then to me it looks like you all are having your tea, your Maggie, your fun time. Yes,
Veena ma'am has a question.
Okay, Veena
Yeah,
ma'am.
so ma'am, we in our school they also take student feedbacks.
Yes.
So the student feedback, I'm not sure if though they are guided questions are there, but will the students, how accurate, or whether it's the right thing to depend on, because students are, they get, if they, if a few certain of students are getting, they are scolded or for some reason, they have that thing in the mind. And if they're in the good mood, yes, they will go accordingly. So how reliable these feedbacks are?
Yeah. Okay. So thank you, Veena ma'am, for putting this question. This is an important
Same from
360 degree.
ma'am. If we
Yes.
blend this question, same as we take feedback for students, in the same sense we send feedback for parents also through Google Forms or hard copy also. So how we can identify that it is done in a true labor or not?
Yes. Yes, ma'am. Teachers, it is very good question, both of you who have put here, Veena ma'am and Sunita ma'am. Thank you for posing such good question. 360-degree review is not only for the teachers, is not only for the students, is not only for the parents, is not only for the leaders. Now, in our new academic session, most probably, if NEP is implemented in the right way, 360-degree review will be there for all stakeholders. So the way your students are giving you the feedback, the same way you are also going to give your student feedback. The way your principals and vice principals will give a feedback to you for you, the same way you will also be giving a feedback for them. So 360-degree feedback will be there as per NEP, and I think so it should be there. In all corporates, I have worked in corporates, we used to have 360-degree feedback. Important here is not what the other person is writing as your feedback. Important is how you take that feedback. We all know whether, जो मर्जी बोलो, हमें सब पता है कि कौन सी चीज मेरी अच्छी है, कौन सी चीज मेरी बुरी है. So if somebody has pinpointed, has seen that, good in me or bad in me or improvement he is saying to improve in me, I should take it as a positive feedback and work on it. First of all, that is a mindset that we all have. Yes, your students sometime can give you a feedback where they did not had a good day. Maybe you have scolded them, and unfortunately the feedback form came to them on that day. So they said, oh, Musita ma'am had given me, not good score. I'm also going to write a bad feedback. But then remember, it will be only 10% of those students. Important is what your other 90% of your students are writing for you. Okay, so in that case, if you want your rest of the student to write well for you, you have to work on yourself. Nobody else can work on you. You have to work on your teaching strategies. Never take any student lightly. Never take any chapter lightly. All chapters should be an engaging chapter. There are many boring chapters. As a teacher, I know that this chapter is very boring, and I also know that student is not going to use these skills or this concept in the life. I have never used it. My student is also not going to use it, but doesn't matter. Make every chapter an interesting chapter. Do your best, okay, so that, because definitely 360-degree review or appraisal is important, and every aspect, every day is important for you now. Okay, so Veena ma'am, here I want to say that yes, some students will write bad, but majority of them will definitely write good about you, because you are a good teacher in your not 365 days, in your 300 days at least. Okay, some days are bad, so that
Yes,
doesn't
ma'am.
matter.
No.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
but I've been lucky. The 5th year in my present school, it has been a positive experience. I haven't got a negative feedback as
Negative
such. It's
feedback.
just that your voice is. I can't hear ma'am from last bench, but all of us have that limitation how much I can
Yes,
speak. So only
yes.
few things, but it's been a positive experience so far. But I
But
just want to
now,
know, because the other teachers share this, that
yeah,
today this is what he did, and I
did,
really
yes.
screamed at the class, and today they have taken. What's the point in taking these feedbacks?
Feedbacks, yes.
So
No,
teachers keep
there
sharing
are,
this.
yes, yes. There are some good days, there are some bad days with everyone.
Yeah.
But believe me, luck will always be on your side, because you have been a good teacher throughout, majorly throughout the year. And also, if you have worked on yourself, your student also realize it. Okay. Now, maybe in my first chapter, I was not good with my teaching strategies, but I realized it, I practiced it, I enhanced my own strategies. Maybe from the 4th chapter onward, I did great work. Students have seen that they are good enough to have that kind of an experience and give you that kind of a feedback also. Okay, so that is okay. It doesn't matter. Everything will not go as what we wish to happen, or wish to for our children to write for us. That is okay. But
Yeah, and
remember,
also just to
yes,
add to this, that it's always recommended not to go with just a truck for kids, like for pre-primary kids. We observe them in multiple activities, right? It's for single milestone, we observe them for multiple activities. So even for teachers, when we take students' feedback, they are observing us. It has to be taken over a period of time, couple of like 3-4 times, right? And then you will come to know you might be averaging out or something. Like I'm sure Navinder ma'am is going to cover the parameters and the rubrics, as in the kind of rubrics, the scoring, and that can be done multiple times. And then averaging out will give you a better result than taking one single feedback as into consideration. I think that is.
and also remember, teachers, these broader performance indicators, work on yourself, because these are your strengths, these are your weaknesses, and these are your improvement areas also. So take each domain of this and start working on it. definitely you'll be a great teacher for your students. We do remember our great teachers, and sometimes I do remember my school days teacher used to scold us so bad, and teacher used to have some slang words that she used to use at that time. But now I appreciate those things also for that teacher, because now as I can see that there were many good things that the teacher has also taught us. So just focus on yourself, your strengths using these domains. These are important. These are your performance indicator. Work on these. These are important aspects. Okay, so I'm giving you an example here. This is the rubric which has been created by one of the school, which they have taken the domains. So these are the domains: commitment to pupils and pupil learning, professional knowledge, teaching practices, leadership and community. And these are the pointers which the school has written. Like for professional development, the school has written teachers know their subject matter and the education related legislation. Teachers know a variety of effective teaching and assessment practices. Teachers know a variety of effective classroom management strategies. Teachers know how pupil learn and the factor that influence pupil learning and achievement. Now, for this as a self-appraisal, you will have a column here where you will have your percentages written, where you will have your indicators written, which are measurable, which are the one which tells you where do you stand. So in my next screen, I will be revisiting the screen again. So you have your performance descriptors. So when you have your performance descriptor, it talks about the presence of the activity, the frequency that you undertake for that particular performance indicator. So this is just one thing that I have written. Your school can have many other things, or you can also change it to your own requirement. But normally a performance descriptor will have occasionally, often, usually, always. So if I'm doing now, occasionally 0 to 30, often is 31 to 60, usually 61 to 90, and always in 91 to 100. Now here, these are observable and measurable statements or the teacher's action. Now let's go back to this statement. Teachers knows a variety of effective teaching and assessment practices. Now, suppose as a self-appraisal, I write here, okay, I can rate myself as 60 plus. So let me see what I am. So 60 plus means usually. It is good enough. Now let's go back to the screen again. Let's take another domain here. Teacher, let's take from teaching practices. Teachers use their professional knowledge and understanding of pupil curriculum, teaching practices, and classroom management strategies to promote the learning and achievement of their pupil. Now here I can take up as my achievement, because I don't think so I'm very good teacher. I'm a new teacher. I have to learn many new pedagogies. I have to learn about the new teaching practices. I have to be good with the classroom management. I am still a struggling teacher because I'm a new teacher, and I rate myself as maybe 40, 45. So I will come under as orphaned. Now what plan I'm getting here? As a new teacher, I can see that I have written here orphaned, so that becomes my improvement plan. So in the improvement plan, classroom management comes. In the improvement plan, learning more teaching strategies come. So this is how a self-appraisal has to be taken with the parameters which your school has given. And if your school has not given, even then you can write your own things here, like what we have written here. You must have noted down also. Anything else that you want us to work on or say? In any case, we'll be doing a extended, topic training here for 2 hours, or maybe for school individually. If you want us to work for your school individually, you can please contact Brushali. We can do for your school also. In the end, this is the self-analysis grid that I want all of you to create for yourself, because this is a prerequisite of self-appraisal. So write down your performance standards, write down your strengths, write about your challenges, and then work on your improvement plan. This is something that you should do on regular basis. Once in a quarter, you should work on it. If you really want to work yourself as a good person, as a good educator, it is important for you to work on this grid. Okay. Also, there is one more checklist which Rushali will be using, will be sharing with all of you. I am going to show you that checklist. You can even use that checklist for your appraisal and for your improvement plan. Just give me a second, please. I'm sorry, my trainings usually go by 10 to 15 minutes more than what is we have decided.
That's a very common thing that we do.
Yes, yes.
For us, learning outcome is very important. The objective that we had decided and the outcome. The duration becomes the last parameter that we
last parameter, yes. Okay, so I'm going to share this checklist which Vrushali will be sharing with you all. So this is the teacher self-evaluation checklist, which should be taken before you go for the self-appraisal, because here you will be able to identify your strengths, weaknesses, and improvement area. That will be written into your self-appraisal. So this is for the self-evaluation checklist for lessons, for relationship with students and parents, for professional development, for record keeping, and in the end, we are writing about our appraisals for I am good at, I need to improve, and I will use these strategies to improve my teaching. So this is what we had for today's session. So today, this is what we have for the today's session. You can keep on adding the pointers as per your school requirement.
Thank you so much.
Checklist also. Okay. So thank you, teachers. Any question you have, we are open for Q&A session.
Ma'am, good. Once again, Rakhi here.
Yes, Rakhi, ma'am.
Ma'am, one thing, today's session, we talked about self-appraisal. Another is that we are being assessed from our, like by our authorities, right?
Yes, yes.
That we call as ACR, right?
Yes.
So what I have understood, like over the years, over the last 25 years that into in this profession, I have seen that also has gone change. You can say an evolution, right?
Yes.
The way we are now, the school is assessing us, right? So earlier, what I used to see is that it was not quantified. Everything was mentioned in a qualitative terms.
Yes.
Like they have some sentences for each parameter for every teacher. But now I see, I don't know what is the reason behind that. Things have been quantified. Do you justify? Are you in favor of this kind of quantification of these things for a teacher?
Rakhi, yeah. So Rakhi ma'am, it is not about our thinking, it is about the system which is going to be in place. Now the NEP is putting a system in place where the teacher appraisal will be done as per her work into the entire academic year. They are going to appoint the external agencies. Okay, the auditors will be there into your school. Now, I have been visiting to many progressive school where I go and do the auditing. So we go and observe the class for 5 days. Okay, same teacher we observe twice in a year, so that we see what is the benefit of our audit in the previous quarter that we have done. So this is becoming a regular habit, and I think so this should be taken as an important part for the teacher herself also, because in a way we are helping you to grow, helping you to improve. Okay, the quality of the education has to be improved. So for that, this kind of self-appraisal or this kind of observations, this kind of focus group interviews are important if we really want to improve our quality of the teaching. So this is a system which is now going to develop. So we are coming up, not I'm not saying we I mean to say the authorities, like we have Parak, we have this one SQA is there, where the school accreditation is listed as per the quality of the teachers. So these are now becoming more firmer. Earlier it was there. All schools were not implementing it. But maybe in this, from this year onward, this become an important part of our school scenario. So here, important is forget about who is coming as an external auditor. Forget about what your principals or your vice principals are saying, because even they are not very good into their teaching practices. They are also not very good into their resources. Okay, everybody has their plus and minuses. But important here is that you do your self-evaluation, so that when the time of self-appraisal comes, you put your entire picture into the correct way. Remember, self-appraisal is only once in a year. That is the only opportunity to tell your mentors, to tell your supervisors, hello, I'm here, I know this also, I can help the school growth in this way also. There is no other way, because anytime you may say anything, but appraisal time is the only important time where what you say will have a weightage. Okay,
Right.
so self-evaluation is important, and keep on improving on yourself.
Right.
Right?
Right.
Thank you, Rati ma'am. Any other question, teachers? I hope we were able to present some thought to you for self-appraisals and self-evaluations. Know your worth, teachers. You are great teachers. You are skillful teachers. You have done wonders in last 2 years of time. Now is the time to utilize those skills into your promotions and into your appraisals.
Definitely, ma'am. Thank you very much for this
Thank you
valuable
so much,
information.
ma'am. Thank
Thank you
you,
so
ma'am.
much,
Thank you so much.
Ravinder ji. It was really lovely, and the checklist is just amazing. We'll be sharing it in the knowledge series group, and yeah, so that's, and I've also shared the self-awareness grid in the group. And yes, Ravinder ji, it was really, really lovely, and it is not only for educators but for all of us.
For
I
all
think
of
all
us.
of us will have different parameters, different parameters on which we assess ourselves. I think it's a great practice that we should keep on doing. It's not for anything else, but for improvisation to yourself. It's professional development that you want to take up. So great. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yes, Ankita ma'am, it's not us on the topics. We got request for this topic, and that's why we always keep on telling you, whatever you need, you let us know. And we'll bring those topics for you, be it for your own school, be it for the community. Do let us know, because how much ever we think and we do our research, your life
Yes.
experience always gives us better perspective for a topic.
Yes, but we hardly think about ourselves, and this was really eye-opening. At least for me, I found it quite helpful because we are into giving, 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 and giving, and we really this was a great point that we are supposed to jot it down somewhere. By the end of the year, we really have no idea, and we think कि हमने तो इतना किया, इतना effort डाला, कहाँ गया? अब जब दिखाने का time है, so we don't have anything.
Yes. So see, as a
Absolutely.
teacher, as an educator, psychologically, we are the givers.
He
We
was,
only know
yes.
how to give. We don't know how to put ourselves into the star position. That
Or at
is
least list
something
what
that
we
we are
gave.
lacking. Yes.
Demand. We don't have, we
Yes.
don't know how to demand.
Yes.
No, we are the nurturers, basically.
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much,
Yes.
Navinda. Thank you so much, Ankita ma'am, and thank you so much, everybody. We'll just take 2 minutes of your time. Adishri, over to you quickly, because we are already
Sure.
over
We have
time.
short up the time. Only thing is, we had a morning session we had a morning session. We are just repeating the same thing. There were many people. So today we have some offers for you. That is why we are again taking these 2 minutes. So there are some amazing workshops that are coming up. So one is on storytelling, how to build your concept into stories, and that is taken by one of the very, very renowned storyteller of the country. So, and today we are giving a flat 15% off if you register within 24 hours. Also, we have another session on experiential learning, which is coming up, which is an asynchronous course. And do register and avail the discount. Shubham, if you could just put there are new people who have not attended the morning session. So for them, if at all, you can just put it in the chat. So these are the sessions, we really curate with whole our heart. So please do pass it on to your colleagues also, because more people, it is again the 360-degree learning that happens, right? So we learn from each other. So try, just spreading a word around as well. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, so Shubham is sharing few links in the meanwhile. Thank you so much, Navinda ji. It was as usual a pleasure. And
Thank
of
you
course, we're
so
going to have, sorry, so please continue.
Thank you so much, Vishali, for giving me this topic because this was very, close to my heart. I actually wanted to take up this with my teachers because I know as teachers, we never realize that we are doing great work and that needs to be highlighted. Okay. So
It's a
thank you,
pleasure.
teachers. Thank you,
Thank you so much,
Vishali.
teachers.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you
Thank
for
you, ma'am.
spending your
See
Sunday
you.
afternoon with us. I'm sure it's the only day you get rest, and I think now it's time to get rest and you can relax.
It's worth it.
Yes. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you,
Uh,
Thank
everyone.
you, ma'am.
we have
Thank
shared
you.
the
Thank you,
code in the
Orange
chat.
Lakes.
Thank you.